So I made a video the other day about the top 5 worst hunt games to play, period. And you guys have absolutely destroyed that video with over 100,000 views in the first 2 days of it being up. So today we are going to be doing top 5 best badges to unlock inside the hunt. Now, do not get us confused with the top 5 easiest, because there are a few games out there that are unbelievably easy, but are really, really poorly made. Obviously, everybody likes an easy badge here and there. However, there's a pretty big difference between making an easy challenge and just simply logging into a game and then getting a badge. This video is highlighting the highlights of this event. So if you were only to play 5 games, these are the top 5 I would recommend. So with that out of the way, let us just get started. Coming in at number 5, I have Catalog Avatar Creator. Now I know this is going to be kind of a controversial pick to start things off with because there are games with a lot of high production value. However, high production value does not really mean memorability. Now what I like about this game is the fact that they keep it extremely simple. Essentially how this badge works is that you need to win one game in their new game mode, and this new game mode is actually a throwback to old Roblox. And did they do it really well? You see, there are 4 teams. You have the Deathwalker, which is the new Roblox limit that they just added for the event. You have the Overseers, the Red Cliff, and Core Blocks, which if those sound familiar to you, it's actually a throwback to the old factions within Roblox, specifically in Medieval Warfare, which is an old 2013 game. And honestly, this game just gives me so much nostalgia, and it really just like hit like a big shock because when I first played this game, I thought I was actually playing the wrong game. I thought I clicked the wrong link somehow, some way. I was not expecting it whatsoever, but I'm really happy I did get what I got. Now, in terms of actually getting this badge, it could be kind of hard because only one team can win, and unfortunately, not one person can really determine the outcome of the game. I mean, theoretically, somebody can, but when you're fighting with swords, it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed. However, the games are reasonably short, and once again, it's one of those really, really engaging events, so I honestly don't think you would actually get bored playing this. And so I really got to apply Catalog Avatar Creator because I honestly really was not expecting anything remotely fun from them, and they actually proved me wrong pretty big time. Coming in at number 4, SCP-RP. Now, this one in particular actually really blew me away because they actually had their own dedicated story for the event. And once again, this is not the most objectively best put together game. However, it was a giant breath of fresh air to see something like this after the slog of playing Lumber Simulator. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the game actually has you going through this cool little dimension thingy, and you're supposed to find this cool little object thingy, which I'm not going to say what it is, and you have to do quite a bit of shooting on your way there. The guns aren't necessarily the best thing I've ever used before, but once again, I was really thoroughly impressed with the fact that they actually took the hunt and included it inside SCP lore. Once again, like Catalog Avatar Creator, I wasn't expecting anything too crazy from a game with SCP-RP in it because, you know, we all played the RP games. It's not my favorite genre in the world, but I'm really glad to see that these developers actually went the extra mile to make their game extra good for the event. However, I will say, unlike Catalog Avatar Creator, there isn't really much replayability in this. This is kind of a one then done. It'll probably take you around 10 to 15 minutes to complete, but what can I say? It was short, it was sweet, and it left a pretty good memory in my head. Now, from this point on, things are going to get a little dicey here because these next 3 games were so phenomenal. I really had a really hard time deciding where to put them. If I could just give them all a nice little tie, give them all a little crown. So, with that being said, coming in at number 3, we have Doors. Everybody knows I do not like horror games. They scare me, and I don't like the feeling of being scared. And this game did just exactly that. Essentially, to get this badge, you need to complete its new map or new game mode, in which you need to go through a bunch of doors on the negative floors with a certain time limit. And if the time limit runs out, well, this cool little red thing comes after you. Once again, I'm not going to say what, because if you don't make it, well, that's a surprise that I don't want to spoil for you. I will say though, this is going to be one of the harder challenges to complete if you don't have somebody who's experienced with doors with you. Thankfully, I had my YouTube chat help me out with it. However, you guys might not be so lucky because if I had to do this thing solo, I would be in a mental ward. But it's one of those things where it's hard, but it's fair. Yes, you might not like how hard it could be, and you might get frustrated, but once you're all said and done with it, you can look at it and be like, wow, that was a fun net positive. But oh my god, did the time limit stress me out. I don't think I've ever been more stressed in my entire life. Even though I got the badge, it was so unbelievably close. One of my viewers actually made the craziest clutch play of all time, and while the cool little monster was chasing after us, he sacrificed himself just so he could flick the lever to give us an extra minute to get the hell out. And another thing I have to mention is the fact that yes, it does use some original Doors assets, it introduces new monsters, and really makes the game very scary, especially with the time limit. And once again, even though I'm not a horror fan, I actually really thoroughly enjoyed this event. Coming in at number 2, we have Arsenal. Say what you want about Arsenal, they did this event and they knocked it out of the park. Seriously, they had no right putting this much effort, this much production quality into an event. They made basically their own Call of Duty campaign level for this event, and it was amazing. But essentially, to get this badge, you have to actually complete the level in which you have to break into this facility and upload some kind of malware and get the hell out. There's multiple ways you can go about this. You can go stealth, you can go loud. All that matters is that you get from point A to point B. And oh my god, that was such a bad voice crack, dude. Oh my god. I'm leaving it in, I don't care. And while I was doing this event, I actually decided to cripple myself, and I decided to really only use the pistol. And I'm not gonna lie, the pistol's pretty damn broken. One shot to the head, it's amazing. It's a competitive shooter, what do you expect? But my only critique that I've heard is the fact that some of the AI might be a little bit unfair, specifically the red ones. Once you run into them, be careful. They will absolutely shred you. And if they do, you can always run back and just hide for a second and gain your health back. You don't gotta, you don't gotta die. But the mission takes around 30 minutes to complete, and honestly, if you want to speedrun it and replay it, you could. I don't know what the speedrun is like, but I think if you really tried, I feel like you could probably get it in under 3 minutes. Now, I am gonna give an honorable mention to Piggy. When I was making this list, I was trying to think of all the games that I thought were really good. Piggy was on the list, but I ended up choosing Catalog Avatar Creator over Piggy for a few small reasons. One reason being, I'm not really the biggest Piggy fan. I don't really think the AI has really done that well, and honestly, you can cheese this pretty hard. Another reason is the fact that I just don't really remember that much about it, to be honest with you. It honestly didn't really stick with me that much. And even though, yes, there was cutscenes, the game was really well put together, there was good puzzles, and made you think a little bit, I honestly would rather prefer Catalog Creator just because it was more memorable and it was more fun for me. But it would be criminal if I did not mention how good Piggy was. But out of the top 5, I would put it at number 6. But coming at number 1 is probably going to be a surprise to a lot of people, but I have to put Steep Steps. Now, I know what everybody's going to say when I put this at number 1. Everybody's going to say how hard and miserable this badge is to get. And yes, I can agree with you. It's hard, but it's definitely not miserable. This game really makes you work for its badge. And honestly, I feel like a lot of games nowadays are really too easy to get. And it's usually pretty rare for developers to make a hard game and for it to do commercially well. However, Steep Steps is one of these games that have done absolutely amazing and have been grinding ever since it came out. These people made an absolutely phenomenal map. And while yes, it is frustrating, the feeling that you get when you beat this, honestly, it's indescribable. I can't explain it to you. You just have to beat the challenge. You have to overcome the impossible. One thing I will say before you start this, please don't do what I did and start doing it, go through it, and realize that you did not talk to the samurai. Talk to the samurai and then start your quest, because you have to pick up 5 artifacts. At least I think it's 5. It might be 4. And another important thing to note, that this game does not guide you where you're supposed to go. You have to figure it out for yourself. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but what I will say is to look out at your environment, and if you think there's a secret area or a place that you're maybe not supposed to go ahead and check it out. This game encourages exploration even if it's costly. But overall, amazing job from the people at Steep Steps for putting this event together. Honestly, great. 10 out of 10. I would do it over again. Actually, maybe I wouldn't, but it was really fun. I enjoyed every second of it. Now, let me know in the comments what games I snubbed, because honestly, out of the 100 games, there are more than 5 good ones. These are just the best. And honestly, I also probably forgot about 1 or 2 of them. So let me know in the comments what you thought was your top 5. And also let me know about how you're enjoying the event so far, because I've had a lot of fun with it. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your guys' day. Bye-bye.